Republicans. How is this crazy contest for the Republican nomination going to turn out? And is it going to be settled eventually by what you and I grew up with, which was conventions at which it was left to be decided at the convention?
It could happen. It could happen. Back in 1924, I think the Democratic convention went 103 ballots. And the two people who got a combined 80% on the first ballot, neither one of them even ended up with the vice presidency. So really strange things happen at conventions. I don't know whether you've ever been to any, but
no, haven't.
They've changed in complexion over the years, but this one could change back. I mean, somebody could go there with a plurality, but not a majority. So it will be, I mean, this is something we haven't seen before when you've got three non-politicians with an aggregate of 50% of the vote on the Republican side. And what we're really seeing in government right now, and I think it's manifesting itself a little bit in these debates and what's happening in the polls now. We've always thought in terms of two-party government, but we now really have three-party government, and we're seeing that in the speaker selection. I mean, you may have them only calling themselves Republicans and Democrats, but there's a distinct party now within the Republican Party, and you have three-party government, and the traditional Republican Party has a plurality, but they do not have a majority. And that's something we really haven't come to grips with much in this country. We are not, in terms of culture, in terms of rules, in terms of a whole bunch of things, we have been set up for two-party government, and we don't know how to deal yet with three-party government, and that's accentuated by the fact that in the Senate, they changed the cloture rule in 1975. There wasn't any cloture to speak of before that. So now you can have a majority in the Senate, but you still have a third party, which is the cloture vote, you can call it, needing to get to 60 votes for anything that's important. So we are actually dealing with a governing situation that before 1975 would not have existed in either house, and we're struggling with it. And to imagine that you can't find anybody who wants to be Speaker of the House, is just startling to me. My dad was in the House of Representatives, and Sam Rayburn was Speaker of the House, and he was one powerful guy, and of course the Speaker is number 3 in line to be president too. So it's really, you're witnessing sort of a quiet revolution in terms of how America will be governed, and we may go back to the old system. We may find a way that we can get it back to two parties, but it is not a two-party system now.
And do you have any anticipation of how it's going to turn out?
No, I don't, because you don't have three parties that are going to cooperate with each other. I mean, their differences are not really very negotiable. Now, it's a great spectator sport. I wouldn't want to be a participant, but I like it as a spectator sport.